Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. In the previous lesson, we discussed some of the verses from the Quran for form number 8. And the verses that we discussed were in Allah astafa Adama wa Nuha. So here, istafa is basically, but when we connect it, then Hamza is not pronounced. So in Allah astafa, chose. So this is the past tense. But our focus was on the verb, which is ittala'a. So here it is ittala'a, it's the past tense. And when fa is connected to that, it becomes fattala'a. So here it's the past tense. Whereas here it is also attala'a. However, we know that here is Hamzatul Istifham, that is used to ask a question. And after that, we have the past tense, and the combination makes it attala'a, and now it becomes a question. As we can see over here, has he looked? And in the end, we can see the question mark over here. And here we have something interesting. Fa'attali'a. So attali'a was basically attali'u, and this is the present tense. However, this fa is fa as-sababiyya, and it makes the mudari mansub. So it was basically attali'u, but because of fa, it became fa attali'a ila ilahi Musa, and it is translated as so that I may look at the deity of Musa alayhi salam. And similarly, this verse of the Quran, أَوْ يَذَّكَّرُ فَتَنْفَعَهُ الذِّكْرَى. So it was basically فَتَنْفَعُ, as we can see over here, but because of fa, it has changed into fatanfa'a. It's not part of the lesson, but I decided to introduce this to yourselves because I didn't see it in the book, in book number 3. So I thought this is something that we need to know as well. Now we move on to the next part, and let's look at more verses of the Quran. يَوْمَ الْتَقَى الْجَمْعَانِ. So iltaqa. What kind of verb is this? Is this present, past? Is it fi'l al-amr, fi'l al-nahi? What form is this? Yes, anyone there? يَوْمَ الْتَقَى الْجَمْعَانِ. On the day when the two armies met. So we can see over here, iltaqa is the past tense, and يَوْمَ الْتَقَى الْجَمْعَانِ, on the day when the two armies met. So this is the past tense over here. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Una, as we know that the sound when we talk about the verb, then the una sound is basically for the plural. If it is with ya, yattaquna, it will be for the third person, and if it is ta, tattaquna, then it will be the second person. So is it mudare or madi? As we can see over here, so that you may become righteous. So it is translated as present. And then tatta over here, ta confirms, and then the una sound confirms that this is al-mudari. So this is past tense and this is present tense. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِي أَنفُسَكُمْ وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَدَّعُونَ. Again here, tashtahi is basically the tense, the present tense, al-mudari. Ishtaha, yashtahi, ishtiha'an, to desire for something. And why do we have the feminine verb over here? Because we know anfus is the plural of nafsun. Nafsun is feminine and anfus is also feminine. So that's why the verb that we have to use is the feminine. Of course, the verb that has been used in the Quran is feminine. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِي أَنفُسَكُمْ وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَدَّعُونَ. And again, تَدَّعُون is, as you can see here, similar to تَتَّقُون. أَنْتُمْ تَدَّعُون, أَنْتُمْ تَتَّقُون, يعني what you want or you wish. So both of them are the present tense. So this is mudari and this is mudari. This is for the first person. Yeah, she, anti, anta tashtahi, and here we have taddaun, antum taddaun. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. All right, what about this one? What kind of verb is this? هل من مجيب? Is there anyone to answer? وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. So here, as we can see over here, and hold firmly So this is fi'l al-amr. Fi'l al-amr. I'tasama, ya'tasimu, i'tisaman. And when we make fi'l al-amr, it will be i'tasim, i'tasima, and i'tasimu. And when we have waw before it, then it becomes wa'tasimu bihablillahi. In fact, this is ayn, so it should be wa'tasimu bihablillahi jami'an wa la tafarraqu. Tafarraqu, which verb form is this? Form number? Anyone there?
3, Ustad.
Okay.
5.
Three is
5, Ustad.
5. Okay. This is 5, and this is, we know that 5 is mutaba'atu from number 2. So from number 2 is farraqa yufarriqu tafriqan, is to divide something into different, sects or into different things, and tafarraqu is to be divided by yourselves. Like we learned that waqqafa is to stop someone, but when we say tawaqqafa, that means to be stopped by yourself. Okay, so this is from number 5. This is la an-nafiya or la an-nahiya?
Prohibition, Ustad.
Prohibition. Okay. Here, do you think it should be tafarraqu or should be something else over there?
Additional ta should be there.
Excellent. Now you see, you figured it out. Excellent. Alhamdulillah. So it was basically tatafarraqu. And we know that whenever, most of the times in the Quran, when there is a repetition of tata, then it is dropped and it is wala tafarraqu, and don't become divided, as we can see over here, that here now it gives the meaning of passive. وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُضِلِّينَ عَضُدًا. Okay, muttakhidh. What do you think about this one?
This is ism file.
Ismul file starts with mu, and then the second last letter has kasra. Yeah. So it is okay. وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُضِلِّينَ. What about mudillin? Can you figure out the pattern? Okay. Dalla yadillu dallan.
This one
Fahuwa
is
dallun.
ism
Yeah.
mawfool. No.
From number 4. Aslama yuslimu islaman. Adalla yudillu idlalan. Because look, from number 1, please remember that from number 1 cannot have mu. It's not possible. So whenever you see mu, it has to be derived form of the verb. Okay. So from number 1 is dalla yadillu dalalan, is to go astray by oneself or by yourself, to go astray. But we know that from number 4 is causative, so that means to make someone go astray. Adalla yudillu idlalan fahuwa mudillun. Fahuwa mudillun ismul fa'il. Mudillani mudilluna. And then whenever we have una, it can also be ina. It will be mudillina. And I would not have taken the misguiders. So you can see over here, misguiders is because it is mudillina, those who misguide others. So that's why I said this is from number 4. Okay, if it's from number 1, what will be the ismul fa'il? Dalla yadillu fahuwa dallun. La dallun, right?
Okay.
Okay, what will be the plural of dallun? Yes, dallani is the dual and dalluna is the plural. Okay, and plural dalluna is marfu. What is mansub and majroor? Excellent. Dallina. Yeah, dallina, of course, because it's dallun, dallani, and dalluna, dallina, dallina. Why una changes into ina? Because we know whenever we have ya, we should know that ya is compatible with kasra. So it was dallina, right? So it becomes dallina. Why? Because lam is compatible with kasra. So when we talk about plural for ismul fa'il, it will be dalluna. But when we change it into mansub or majroor, it becomes dallina. All right. So an example of dallin from the Quran.
Surah Al-Fatiha.
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Yeah. So here, dallin is the ones who went astray. It refers to the Jews. Okay. Whereas here it is mudillina are the ones who make others go astray. And then it will be misguiders, those who misguide others. So that's why we are learning these forms. And now you need to be, mashallah, you have covered like 8 forms of the verb. So try to make sure that you focus on these forms so that you can figure out the forms, whether it is from number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, because that will definitely help us to figure out the meaning. As we can see over here, mudillun is someone who misguides others. So that's why it is misguider. Okay, excellent. So we move on to Ar-Rahman. And Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arsh istawa. Ala al-arsh istawa. Yes.
This is an
Form
adjective,
number
sir.
Hmm?
is
Istawa, yastawi, istawa'an. Past tense. Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arsh istawa. The most merciful, he who is above the throne established, or he who established himself above the throne, you know. So istawa, yastawi, istawa'an is the past tense
It's
from
from
number
8, is it?
from 8, exactly, yeah, from 8. And I meant to say from 8, and this is past tense. That's what I meant. Yeah, past tense. Okay. Al-Madi from number, I mean Sigha number 1. We shouldn't say from number 1, we should say Sigha number 1. Okay. Illa matturirtum ilayhi. Let's see if we have taken one example of this. فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. Let's see. Yes.
يضطر
And I gave you complete conjugation of this verb because I know this verb it was basically darara yadurru, and then it changed into ittarra yatturru, and the passive will be utturra. Yeah. So this is
passive,
past passive. Yani antum uttarirtum. Basically, it was dhamma over here. So if you have dhamma over here, it is easy to figure out. Uttarirtum, and here the idgham has been opened up. You know that after sigha number 6, I should say, sigha number 6, the idgham opens up. So for example, dhanna, dhanna, dhannu, dhannat, dhannata. Yes. Dhananna, dhananta, dhanantuma, dhanantum. So when we reach from sigha number 7, then what happens? The idgham opens up. So here idgham has been opened up, and it was basically ma uttarirtum, what unless you are being compelled, and we know that the hamza is hamzatul wasl, so when we connect it, we don't pronounce it, so it becomes matturirtum ilayhi. And فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ, if you remember one example from the Quran, inshallah, that will be easy for you to figure out. So this is the passive of passive for the past tense. إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Now, inshallah, I'm very sure that you can analyze the whole verse of the Quran.
اختلف يختلف اختلافا.
Ikhtilaf. So what is this? This is? Oh my God. Masdar. You said yourself, ikhtalafa yakhtalifu ikhtilafan. Yeah, actually, yeah, we are used to saying this, but sometimes we don't really relate to the meaning. So that's why. And the other thing is that's difficult to figure out because in the Quran, it is written like this. Min ghairil Quran, we know that it will be written like this. So it will be easy to figure out. It will be ikhtilaf with lam alif, right? So it will be ikhtilaf. But in the Quran, we need to be careful. What happens whenever we have, sometimes as we see, it can be written like this, which is the short alif, and then there is fatha over there. So it is basically ikhtilaf. Okay, it's a masdar. All right. So the rest of the verse of the Quran, I'm sure you can analyze all of it. So inna, and we know that after ismu inna and khabaru inna, so fi khalqis samawati wal ardi. So why khalq is majroor? Because of fi. Okay. As-samawat is majroor and ard is majroor. Why?
Because mudaf again.
Excellent. Yeah. So as-samawat
this
is
one waw
mudaf, and then this is waw al-atf, and this is
al-atf.
matuf. Okay. And then again we have waw al-atf. واختلاف الليل. So اختلاف is mudaf, al-layl is mudaf ilayh, والنهار is also matuf على الليل. Okay,
La of
here.
emphasis. La of emphasis.
Alhamdulillah, yeah. La of emphasis, which comes after inna. Excellent. Perfect. So it's basically for inna. And la ayatin. What about li ulil albab?
This is
Uli.
mudaf ilayh.
And where does it come from? Uli.
It's like possession.
No, we did a complete lesson and I gave you detailed information about the, the, and the plural of the is ulu. Ulu, uli, uli. Here it is uli because of there is lam al jar before this, so it became uli. And uli is mudaf and albab is a plural of lubun. So li ulil albab. So uli is always used as mudaf, and then albab is mudaf ilayh. Did you get the idea? So the marfu form will be ulu, and we know that this waw is not pronounced, so it will be ulu. This is sakin, and when we make it mansub and majroor, it changes into uli. Ulu, uli, uli. It is always used as mudaf, and albab is mudaf ilayh. Okay, next one. Ila rabbika muntahaha.
Intaha. So it's
Okay.
intaha.
Mhm.
This is ism of
Ismul,
ism of
ismul maf'ul, excellent. Okay, but here is it used as ismul maf'ul?
No, it's like a zarf.
Is dharf, excellent. Dharf, zaman, we can say, yeah, the time of the day of judgment. So it can be dharf as zaman. Okay, so this is basically ismul maf'ul, and we know that in the derived forms of the verb, ismul maf'ul can also be used as dharf as zaman or makan. Okay, so it was basically muntahan, and we know that whenever we have alif maqsura, and when we attach it to the attached pronoun, then this alif maqsura changes into regular alif. So it becomes muntaha, so it is mudaf, and ha is mudaf ilayh. So why this tanween changed into fatha? Because we know that mudaf is always light. So if it has fathatain, then it changes into fatha. So muntahaha, ila rabbika muntahaha, to your Lord is the finality. That means we have to return to our Lord. So it can be ismul maf'ul, it is or it is basically dharf al-makan and zaman. وما يكذب به إلا كل معتد أثيم. Yes. Yes, what about this one?
Mudaf ilayh.
No, we have to figure out the form. Is it past, present, ismul fa'il, ismul maf'ul?
Mu'tadin. This is ism maf'ul.
No, impossible.
يعتدى
Excellent. اعتدى يعتدي اعتداء فهو معتد. Yeah, it's basically the confusion is we know this is ismul manqus. Okay, so ismul manqus is whenever we have ismul fa'il comes with kasratain. So, and you know that there was basically ya after or alif maqsura after that, then that gets dropped and then it changes into tanween. So it became mu'tadin and transgressor. So it is, as we can see from the meaning, it is ismul fa'il, the doer. If it is ismul maf'ul, then it will be mu'tadan. Please remember that it will be mu'tadan, and then we will put here fathatan over there, so it becomes mu'tadan, and then we have to put alif maqsura. But when we have ismul fa'il, then alif maqsura is dropped. So this is the doer, ismul fa'il. Okay. And it's similar to what I explained recently, so I'm sure inshallah now you can figure it out. Ma hadha illa ifkum muftara. Yeah, iftara, yaftari, iftira'an.
This is ism maf'ul.
مفترن
فهو مفتر فذاك
مفترن
muftaran. Excellent. And something that is fabricated, as we can see over here, this is nothing but a lie or but a fabricated lie. So fabricated is something that is passive. Excellent. What is the i'rab of muftaran?
This is Mawsuf Sifa.
Excellent. So this is Mawsuf Sifa. So both of them are marfu. Both of them are marfu. Ifkun is marfu and muftaran is also marfu. It was basically muftarayun, and after the changes, muftarayun becomes muftaran. Yeah, exactly. What if it is the doer? What changes do we have to make if it's the doer? Similar to mu'tadin, as I explained a while ago, it becomes muftarin. Excellent. So just like for the sake of learning here, we will do this, and then we change it into this, so it becomes muftarin. Excellent. So Michelle, I'm sure now you're able to figure out. Then we have a beautiful hadith over here. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه تعالى أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا مات ابن آدم, and we know that ibnu is mudaf and Adam is mudaf ilayh, and it is ممنوع من الصرف. انقطع عنه عمله إلا من ثلاث: صدقة جارية أو علم ينتفع به أو ولد صالح يدعو له. I have 3 questions to ask. Number 1, why sadaqatin jariyatin is majroor? That's question number 1. Question number 2, waladin is used for a boy. So is it only for the boy? That's question number 2. And question number 3, what is the difference between this and between this? Yes, please. Question number 1, why sadaqatin jariyatin, ilmin and waladin are majroor? Why?
من ثلاث
You're almost there, but how can it be mawsuf sifat when we have sadaqatin jariyatin is mawsuf sifat? That's perfect, yeah. But my question is, why sadaqatin jariyatin are majroor?
Because min
من ثلاث
it's
Because
atuf with
after
some
the salasa, after the number, the counted ones, something like that. Ustad?
No. Actually, all of these 3, 1, 2, 3, they are badal from thalathin.
Okay.
We have learned about badal, right? So badal and mubdal minhu. So basically they are mubdal minhu from thalathin. So because in the hadith, 3 things have been mentioned. One is sadaqatun jariyatun, and the other is ilmun nafi'un, and the third one is waladun salihun. And why they are majroor? Because they are badal from thalathin. That's number 1. Number 2, why only waladun over here? Why not waladun wa bintun?
Because of the prominence or the dominance of.
Excellent. At-taghlib. Perfect. So waladun, basically in Arabic it's used for both. And even if it's not used for both, we can say that this is taghlib, and taghlib means it includes both waladun wa bintun. So excellent. So it's both. It can be daughter, it can be son. And what is the difference between these 2?
انقطع is فعل ماضي أستاذ.
Fi'l madi from number 7. Inqata'a is from number 7. And yanqati'u or yantafi'u is from number 8. How do we differentiate between from number 7 and from number 8? From number 8 has extra ta. You see ta over here? So there is a possibility that both of them can have noon. Yeah, it's passive. Excellent. Passive for the present tense. But how to differentiate? That both of them can have noon, but the thing is that we need to figure out is that from number 8 has extra ta. Excellent, yeah. So in qata anhu amaluhu, when a man dies, his deeds come to an end, except for the 3 things. So in qata anhu amaluhu, yani his amal is cut off from him, right? And then what happens? except for three things: sadaqatun jariyatun, and here it is sadaqatun jariyatin because it is badal from thalathin. So what are those? Ceaseless charity, أو علم ينتفع به, a knowledge which is beneficial and the people benefit from it. أو ولد صالح يدعو له, a virtuous descendant who pray for him. So we have to strive for all of them. We have to try our best that we try to perform all these three. Try our level best to leave sadaqatun jariyah. Try to leave ilm that the people can benefit from it. And that is what we are doing, inshallah, now, learning and teaching Quran. And then also we have to make sure that we bring up our children in a way. We teach them dua, masnoon du'as and dua like Rabbana hablana min azwajina wa dhurriyatina qurrata ayun waj'alna lil muttaqina imama and Rabbi irhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. These are the du'as that we need to teach our children so that they can make for us. And Rabbi ighfirli wa liwalidayya wa lil mu'minina yawma yaqumul hisab. These are the du'as that we have to teach them from the beginning. Like from year 4 to 5 years old, and then so that they make these du'as for us as well. All right, inshallah, we will do that. Then we move on to the next hadith over here. Now, inshallah, you will answer and you will tell me about here shababaka. So, عن ابن عباس قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. اغتنم, yes please.
فعل الأمر أستاذ.
فعل الأمر, excellent. أحسنتي. اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس شبابك قبل haramika. Okay, now my question is why shababaka is mansub and over here, yeah, because we know haramika is majroor because of qabla, but why shababaka is mansub?
Because of فعل الأمر اغتنم أستاذ.
Okay. No, I've just told you from in the previous hadith, and that's why I brought this hadith again so that you can relate it to this.
Badal.
Yeah.
And then that is badal Ustad again.
Badal for, yes. Yeah, because we have to look for five things, okay? So those are the 5 things that we have to look at. So we will count them all. So this is badal from khamsan. Badal from khamsan, okay? So you know that, don't be confused with qabla, because we know that qabla always makes the noun that comes after that, it makes it mudaf ilayh. So اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. Take advantage of 5 before 5. Shababaka qabla haramika. Your youth before your old age. Wasihatika, and siha is mansub because it is matuf from shababaka. Qabla saqamika. So this is number 2. So then we have to take advantage of our health before we become ill. وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ. And then we have the third thing, that is when you have riches or wealth, and we have to take advantage of this before we become poor, and we have to spend them as sadaqah jariyah. وَفَرَاغَكَ قَبْلَ شُغْلِكَ. And then number 4 is your free time before you get busy. And I would say, at least about myself, I can say that I always find myself guilty of this, that I really waste a lot of time. So we must not spend, or we must not waste even a single second or nanosecond of our lives. And you know, the people of Jannah, they will have only one wish when they go to Jannah, inshallah. Allahumma jalla minhum.
At least some hearts are given, they would again reap those, something like that.
Yeah, and also the time that they couldn't spend in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they would have that wish that they could have spent that time in the dunya, in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the last but not the least, number 5, وَحَيَاتَكَ قَبْلَ مَوْتِكَ, and your life before your death. Such a beautiful hadith, lots of things to take away, and we cannot really ignore any of them. Most of the times we realize, especially when we get sick, then we definitely realize the importance of health. And similarly, may Allah protect us from faqr. Whenever we become like jobless or things happens, we always think about what we used to have. But this is somewhere where we don't really realize. We waste lots of time, and when we become busy, we don't really realize. So if we don't take advantage of this, then we cannot really take advantage of this. So that's why we need to be very careful. And then there is another hadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that there are two things most of the people have, but they do not take advantage from them. That is time and health. So these are two very important things that we need to take advantage of. Okay, wa alaikum assalam. Yes, is there any question or anything to ask? And then we have the vocab part. It's something that we have already discussed several times, but I always believe that vocabulary is the building block of the language. And the more we revise, the more it is useful for us. And it's a good opportunity for all of us to revise it here so that it becomes a part of our learning. اقترح يقترح اقتراحا, to suggest or to propose, from number 8. As we know that in this lesson, our focus is on from number 8. اطلع يطلع اطلاعا, to look into, be informed. We discussed around 3-4 verses of the Quran, and also there was muttali'una ismul fa'il, but then I thought, like, we have discussed already lots of examples from this verb. Intadara yantadiru intidaran, to wait, for number 8. Ta'mimun, yes please, ta'mimun. What is ta'mimun? Which form? Ammama yu'ammimu ta'miman, from number 2. Ammama yu'ammimu ta'miman, circular or notification. Izdahama yazdahimu izdihaman, to be crowded, and it gives the passive meaning as we can see over here. So intaqala yantaqilu intiqalan, also to shift or to move away. Intaqala ila rahmatillah, when someone passes away. Tabaqa is not a verb, it's tabaqun, and the plural is tawabiqu, mamnu min as-sarf, mafa'ilu, story of a building. And then we have sadidun, correct or right? Do you remember the verse of the Quran that we discussed in the beginning of the lesson?
This is mubalagha, is it?
No, sadidun, this verb, this noun that is used in the verse of the Quran. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qulu qawlan
Shadida.
sadida yuslih lakum a'malakum. Yeah, so we need to remember these verses of the Quran. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qulu qawlan sadida. So correct or the right thing. So say something that is right or correct. And that is amr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's not a choice. Khala yakhlu khuluwan, to be empty, vacant. Fahuwa khalin, manqus, because we know whenever we have waw or ya as a third root letter, then ismul fa'il always comes on the pattern of this one, khalin, falin. We have discussed like khala yaghli khalin, and there are many examples of this that we have discussed in the past. However, when we use al with that, then the ya comes back, that has been dropped. Istafa yastafi istifan, to choose, and Mustafan is the chosen one. So Mustafa, is this what's the pattern of Mustafa?
Ism maf'ul.
Ismul maf'ul, excellent, chosen one. Ijtanaba yajtanibu ijtinaban, to avoid. And then we have tajassasa yatajassasu tajassusan, to spy. One, we have discussed a lot about this, yeah. So dhannun, and the plural is dhunun, assumption, doubt, or suspicion. So dhann is very, very important, and it is from af'alul qulub. We have learned that whenever a verb has two objects and it is from number 1, and then most likely it is af'alul qulub. What is the meaning? Inshallah, we will discuss in detail in the next lesson. We have ra'a. So dhanna, when you say, like, when you think about something, so when you say adhunnuka mudarrisan, so then it's like, I think that you are a teacher. It's like something that your heart or mind tells you that this person is a teacher. So inshallah, we will see that something that we see with our own eyes and something that we see, like, apparently, what's the difference between that? And those are called af'alul qulub. Ightaba, what is the past tense? The present tense, sorry.
Yaghtabu.
Okay, and ightiyaban, we discussed in the previous lesson. Excellent, to backbite. Ithman, and the plural is athamun. Tawwabun, and this is what we talked about, is mubalagha. Yeah, okay, excellent. Ittaqa yattaqi ittiqan, we have To be mindful of Allah, to be pious, and also when it comes with the preposition of ba, that means to take shelter. Rahima yarhamu rahmatan, to have mercy. Iktafa yaktafi iktifa'an, to be content, or to content oneself, to be satisfied. Ar-Rahimu, the compassionate, one of the attributive names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ar-Rahmanu, also the most merciful, one of the attributive names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ar-Rahmanu is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person cannot be Ar-Rahman, a person can be Abdur Rahman, but Ar-Rahimu can be the name of the person as well. In the Quran, Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's I don't remember the one end of the surah, so it's like Rahimun, and he's like very conscious about his people as well. So Rahim can be used, and we can say huwa Rahimun, but Rahmanun is not possible to be the name of a person. Iqtaraba yaqtaribu iqtiraban, to draw near. Iqtaraba linnasi,
اقتربت الساعة.
yeah, and also iqtaraba linnasi hisabuhum wa hum fi ghaflatin mu'ridun. Whenever I read this verse of the Quran, it's like really thought-provoking that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that your time has come closer and you are just roaming around doing nothing. So it's like really very thought-provoking. And whenever we go through this verse of the Quran, we have to make sure, we have to reflect, tadabbur and tadakkur. That's what we say, tadabbur and tadakkur. We have to sit and reflect. Are we really preparing for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us or not? Ikhtara yakhtaru ikhtiyaran fahuwa, what will be the ismul fa'il?
مختار.
Mukhtarun, mukhtarun, fahuwa mukhtarun. What will be ismul maf'ul?
مختار.
Both of them are on the same pattern. Mukhtarun can be ismul fa'il and mukhtarun can be ismul maf'ul. Imtaza yamtazu imtiyazan wamtazul yawma ayyuhal mujrimun. So what is this? Mumtazun, as we say, excellent. So mumtazun can be ismul fa'il and mumtazun can be ismul maf'ul. Intaha yantahi intiha'an ila rabbika muntahaha, as we saw today, to finish and come to a close. Muntasafun, middle. Mumtahinun, examiner. Imtahana yamtahinu imtihanan fahuwa mumtahinun fahiya mumtahinatun, right? Fahiya mumtahinatun for the feminine. And mumtahinatun, as we know, the surah of the Quran as well. Imtahana yamtahinu imtihanan, to examine. Ishtaraka yashtariku ishtirakan, is to participate. Haqqun, and the plural is huququn, truth or right. Muttarrun, now please check over here. It has two translations. Why?
Because they ism fa'il and maf'ul.
On the same pattern. Excellent. They are on the same pattern. Now the pattern is different, but after the changes, both of them will be read like this, or they will be written like this. So ismul fa'il is mudtarirun, and after the changes it becomes muttarrun. And ismul maf'ul is mudtararun, and then after the changes it becomes muttarrun. So it is compeller is ismul fa'il and compelled is ismul maf'ul. Wallahi innani muttarrun. Indeed I am forced or compelled to do something. Iltahaqa yaltahiqu iltihaqan is to join. Then we have iftaraqa yaftariqu iftirakan, to be separated. Muftaraqut turuqin or muftaraqut turuqi, because we have al with that, so we cannot read tanween. Crossroads, the name of the book, as the Sheikh mentioned in the end of the lesson. Shabbaha yushabbihu tashbihan, to liken, from number 2. Irtafa'a yartafi irtifa'an, to be raised, it should be, or to rise. Okay. And grammatically have primary case ending, dhamma or its equivalent secondary ending. So we didn't really discuss about this. We discussed about marfu, mansub and majroor. So possibly they also use irtifa as well, as we can see over here. Ijtama yajtami'u ijtima'an, to come together, assemble. So what's the difference between jama'a and ijtama'a? Alladhi jama'a malan wa addada. Yes, alladhi jama'a malan wa addada. And ijtama'a, what's the difference?
That's single and this is in group.
Jama'a is to collect. And ijtama is to come closer. Yani to be collected, to come closer, to meet. So that's why mujtama'un is used for the society where the people live together. And ijtima'an is used for the meeting. And why it's used for the meeting? Because it is the place where people meet together. So these are the differences that we need to really figure out so that we can understand the Quran. Zana yazinu zainan, to decorate. And then when we take it into form number 8, it becomes izdana yazdanu izdayanan, to be decorated. What will be the form number 2? Zayyana yuzayyinu tazyinan, to decorate something as well. So that's form number 2, is also used a lot in the Quran. Dhakara yadhkuru, dhikran, to mention. Okay, I want you to take this from dhakara into form number 2 and give me the meaning. Dhakkara. Okay, give me the meaning, please.
That is in to keep on remembering the frequency
No,
and the
no.
intensity.
From number 2, please remember it is causative. You cause someone to do something.
To make.
Okay, to make someone remember.
Remind. So to remind. Okay, to remind. Okay.
Muzakkir.
Yeah, dhakkara yudhakkiru tadhkiran.
So the Prophet Muhammad.
فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر. So ذكر يذكر تذكيرا is to remind. Okay, when I take it into form number 5, then what happens?
Tazakkara.
Okay, so what's the meaning of تذكر?
To make
Reflective of
the
Yes. أنا لا أتذكر. I will give you the example. To remember. So ذكر, to mention, ذكر, to remind, and تذكر is to remember. تذكر يتذكر. قليل. Yeah, so this is تذكر يتذكر تذكرا. From number 5 is to remember. To remember. Okay, similarly, we have learned alima. Alima is to know. Allama is to teach, and ta'allama is to learn, right? So alima, allama, and ta'allama. So similarly, dhakara, dhakkara, and tadhakkara. So like this, inshallah, when you try to change the forms and look at the meaning, you will get used to it. In the beginning, it can be slightly difficult, but inshallah, with the passage of time, you will definitely, get hold of it. And then when we take it into form number 8, then what happens? It becomes idhakara. Yeah, it was basically idhakara, and then after the change, it became idhakara, yadhakkaru. And what will be ismul fa'il? Okay. So it will be madhakkir. Okay, madhakkir. Excellent. Okay. And still a little bit more. Safa yasfu safa'an, to be or become clean, unpopulated, and istafa yastafi istifa'an is to choose. So this is from number 1. Safa yasfu. Idda'a yadda'i. Iddi'a'an is to claim or to allege something. Zalama zulman, zalama yadhlimu, zulman, to wrong or to oppress. Ittajaha yattajihu ittijahan, to turn one's face. And again we have wajaha, then we have wajjaha, to direct someone towards something, and ittajaha is to be directed by yourself towards some any direction. Ittala'a, to be wronged. Ittalama, and sorry, so zalama, and from zalama it became ittalama, to be wronged or to be oppressed. Ittahada is what basically it was wahada, and then waw changes into ta, and then after merging it becomes ittahada yattahidu ittihadan. And the same pattern we have ittasala yattasilu ittisalan. It basically there was waw over there, and that waw has changed into ta, and then therefore we have the ya. And similarly, it was wasala and it was wahada, and similarly we have here wafaqa, wafaqa, and then it changed into ittafaqa, yattafiqu ittifaqan. So inshallah, now I'm sure we are able to figure out these forms. Okay. Naqala yanqulu naqlan, to move. Istama'a ila, istama'a comes with the preposition of ila, istima'an, to listen. قل أوحي إلي أنه استمع نفر من الجن فقالوا إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا. Okay, so what did the company of the jinn said? إنه استمع. So they listened to it. Yeah, they listened to it carefully. Okay. امتلا يمتلئ امتلاء, to be filled. أذا يضيء إذاءة is from number 4, to broadcast. Istabara yastabiru istibaran is to be patient. Wa'mur ahlaka bis salati wastabir alayha. Very important. And then we have mudhiyun is the announcer. So this is from number 4, as we know. And we are heading, inshallah, towards the last part of the lesson, where we have sabilun, and the plural is subulun, way, path, road, and it's both masculine and feminine. So there are some verbs in Arabic language that can be both masculine and feminine, and sabilun is one of them, which can be used in both ways. Similarly, suqun, the market, is also used both as feminine and masculine. Iltazama yaltazimu iltizaman, to embrace. It is used in many meanings, like iltizam is to be responsible as well, to be obliged as well. But multazamun is a place in Kaaba where we make dua, special place where we part of the eastern wall of the Kaaba, between the door and the black stone.
The door is
Yeah, the door, which is held as though in embrace. Yeah, when we hold it, and when we make prayer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, it's the black stone, and then the door, the place between those two, is called multazam. Ibtasama yabtasimu ibtisaman, to smile. Abasa yabasu abusan, to frown. Yeah, and the one who frowns a lot is what? Abbasun, right? Ihtasaba yahtasibu ihtisaban, to do something to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or to expect. Okay. Man yattaqillaha yaj'al lahu makhraja wa yarzuqhu min haythu la yahtasib. Excellent. Yeah. So whenever you make dua for yourself and for anyone else,
there is a hadith which comes in that ihtisaban, who does with keen this thing, Allah will forgive all the sins. Regarding Ramadan, it comes.
yes, man qama, yeah, man qama imana wa ihtisaban. Yes, excellent. Thank you for reminding me. So ihtasaba yahtasibu ihtisaban, to do something to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also to expect. And haythu, where, so it's basically dharf. It can be mabni, and it can also be like flexible. So whenever it is used as mudaf, then it can be like majroor as well. Yeah. Adda ya'uddu addan, to bite. Ittakhadha yattakhidhu ittikhadan, it's used a lot in the Quran, and it's from akhadha, as we know. Yeah, akhadha. And then we have adghama yudghimu idghaman, and grammatically, to merge a letter with another, to assimilate. And we have idgham bil ghunna and idgham ma'al ghunna and bidun ghunna, right? Yeah. So idgham, that we have in the tajweed of the Quran. Tawaqqa yatawaqqa'u tawaqqu'an, to expect. Thu'banun, serpent. Hayyatun is a small snake. And then we have tha'abinu, mamnu min as-sarf. Yeah. Khalilun has 2 plurals. Akhillau, mamnu min as-sarf, because it's on the pattern of af'ila'u, and khulanun as well, very close friend. Naza yanza'u naz'an, to draw or forth or to pull out. And this is sadda yasuddu saddan, is basically to block up something. And you remember we discussed about sadda masadda, like what happens that after dhanna, whenever we have anna, or whenever we have al-masdar al-mu'awwal, then they stop the impact of dhanna, and they take over the place of 2 objects. Yeah, maf'ulain. And that's why we say that they block the impact. So that's why the grammarian call it yasuddu masad al maf'ulaini. It fills the place of two maf'uls. For example, it functions as two objects. Alhamdulillah, we have completed lesson number 23. And I do believe that from number 8 is, I would say, is the most important form that has been used in the Quran. It is used as much as from number 2 and 4. And I think we have discussed more examples from the Quran than any other lesson. So yeah, so I would highly recommend that you please refer to this again and again, inshallah, and try to master it. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa iyyakum.
Assalamu alaikum.